my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Fair fun starts on Metro Transit. Instead of driving, park your car for free and take a stress-free, non-stop, air-conditioned ride straight to the Minnesota State Fair. You'll not only save on gas and parking costs by taking a State Fair Express bus, we'll drop you off and pick you up right outside the gates. Learn more at metrotransit.org/State Fair. That's metrotransit.org/State Fair.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NACD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nacd.org.
After 20 years of service, the Metro Blue Line is ready for essential improvements. A multi-year transformation is on the way, bringing a better, smoother Blue Line experience. Renew the Blue will preserve and protect a critical piece of our infrastructure investment, helping it remain a safe, reliable, and affordable transit option for many years to come. Learn more about Renew the Blue at metrotransit.org/renew-the-blue. Metro Transit, Renew the Blue. With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms possible with a low of 71. Then Saturday, another good chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high of 84. Grab a tray at Cafe Latte and pick from their award-winning selections of soups, salads, sandwiches, and desserts. Cafe Latte is at Victoria Street and Grand Avenue in St. Paul or at cafelatte.com.
Good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut. He didn't cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, I just wanted to say hi to everybody out there. Hey, just to remind everyone, we're going to be at the Minnesota State Fair, West End Market, and we're going to do the show live. Yes, live at the West End Market, right at their booth, and that'll be at the 21st and 22nd, Thursday and Friday, and hopefully we'll see you out there. I don't know. Let's see what else is going on here. Today's show, I have Sean Sherman, the sous chef, and always great to see him. And he has time for us. It's always cool. He is world renowned, and we talked a little bit about when he was on Finding Your Roots, which is one of my favorite shows on PBS. Sean Sherman, sous chef, and then later on we're going to have Bob Blake from Red Lake. I always like to say that. Bob Blake from Red Lake, the Solar Bear with the Solar News. We'll have a couple segments with Bob talking about things and what's happening just in Indian country and how we feel about things. So we have a really kind of fun show. Again, Sean Sherman, we're really blessed to have Sean on, and it's going to be a lot of fun here on Native Roots Radio. Yeah, I just want to bring up a couple things here before we get going with the show. You know, with Trump being in Alaska and all these things happening, you know, it makes me think about what he said earlier this week about he has a news discussion about, you know, it's called the Washington Cleveland teams to revert back to their old Native American themed names. The Redskins and the Indians, and we all know how we feel about that here on Native Roots Radio. We've been fighting those names. And really, I want to throw this out too, that the Atlanta team, the Atlanta Braves baseball team, still does the chop. And the only thing that I'm grateful for is that they don't show it on TV, but you can hear them in the background hooting and hollering, and it's noted. And one of the things that you know, I feel kind of upset about, and I really can't think about, because as you probably guys know, I'm a big baseball fan, and we talk about a lot of that here on Native Roots Radio. And we've been at the Target Field here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, doing our show live. It's just, I don't like to think about it, but I wonder how many of these millionaire baseball players are MAGA people. And I said it, and it's kind of sad to think about. But again, you know, back to the president. I hate to even say that, the president wanting revert. Redskins is a derogatory term to remind everybody about Native Americans being scalped, and their scalps were worth $200 a scalp here in Minnesota. So you know, I love Andrew Jackson. His pictures back up prominently, and every only good Indian is a dead Indian, and his paintings put up. And then we have Obama's painting in some hallway here. So it's a difficult time for all of us. But again, Native Americans are the experts of resisting. You know, back to the Redskins, and then the Indians with that terrible caricature of a Native American, supposedly a cartoon character, very derogatory. And I mean, I grew up listening to the Cleveland team with this teepee. Well, the Braves had that too, a teepee out front, somebody playing on a big bass drum, dressed up, you know, as a movie Indian. You know, we thought we were beyond that, but things are coming back, and MAGA people are making America great again by reverting back to, I don't know, some history that 1950s maybe. You know, so we're talking about stuff. We're going to be fighting, and this Trump thing that's coming on. So we are resisting, and we like to say at the end of the show, we need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office, and vote. And we have to vote, and it can't be just on one issue. We have to get this clown out of here, and hopefully we'll have a true election in 2026, and we can really tell the legislators really how we feel about things here. Economy's going down the tube. I read that vegetables are 38.9% more higher than they were just 2 months ago. So it's going to hit everybody in their pocketbook. So, you know, just we need to revert back not to the Redskin name, and I don't even like saying that name, but the former Washington and Cleveland sports team's name, and we can keep our dignity and cultural respect, and we're going to keep an eye on this, so just in case this does really happen again, we'll be out protesting again. Some other news here. Minnesota's largest Native American reservation celebrates the first homeborn bison calf a joyful milestone at the White Earth Reservation, the first ever bison calf born locally through the Intertribal Buffalo Council's 2-year-old breeding program. Bison typically give birth in the spring, making this birth in the young age of the mother especially remarkable and a symbol of hope and a shout out to White Earth. I think that's a really big deal. Yeah, right on. You know, we're taking back what's ours, and you probably have seen those pictures of bison piled up with bones, and people, the colonizers came here and killed everything because that's something that Native Americans. We talk about the bison, and that was a gift given, and it's under Lakota. It's a gift given to the Lakota, and they were in their creation story, and they went hand in hand. And the bison has given themselves to the Lakota people in order for them to survive and to live and to thrive. So that's in their creation story. So shout out to the Ojibwe, though, White Earth Reservation. Their firstborn bison calf. And another thing here too, I'll get going. I had the trailer, but I'm not going to play the trailer. Hulu debuts a trailer for Native American folklore based on true crime documentary Blood and Myth, and it's going to be released, I believe, in September 4th. Yeah, it's premiering on September 4th, and an Alaska native is unraveling a violent mystery connected to an ancient myth, raising questions about identity and the justice system. So that's going to be interesting. We'll talk about that too, and maybe we'll try and reach out to Hulu and see if we can get somebody on. But that's awesome that they're doing it. It's awesome that Hulu's in that position to talk about Native Americans. So we appreciate that. It's a true crime documentary, and they're interviewing people that look for the trailer out there. It's out there. And hey, again, we're going to have Sean Sherman on today, and also Bob Blake, and it's going to be a great show. It's we have our friend State Senator Mary Kunesh on vacation, and I don't know when the last time she missed a show. So it's going to be cool. We're going to wait. Can't wait to have her back on, and can't wait for you guys to see this documentary and the rest of this radio show. We'll be right back. This is Native Roots Radio.
After 20 years of service, the Metro Blue Line is ready for essential improvements. A multi-year transformation is on the way, bringing a better, smoother Blue Line experience. Renew the Blue will preserve and protect a critical piece of our infrastructure investment, helping it remain a safe, reliable, and affordable transit option for many years to come. Learn more about Renew the Blue at metrotransit.org/renew-the-blue. Metro Transit, Renew the Blue.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. The Minnesota State Fair is packed with 12 days of fun with food, rides, animal shows, and much, much more. And right in the middle of it all, you'll find Indigenous voices making an impact. Seat the common table for lessons in Indigenous food justice. Visit with Native authors and watch drum groups. Plus, stop by the Native Roots Trading Post back at the West End Market. Tickets are just $17 through August 20th at mnstatefair.org. Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, Discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nacdi.org.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
Then we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Sean Sherman on here. Sean, I'm so appreciative to have you on here. I know the schedule's tight, and really, really appreciate you being on. So,
Absolutely.
as you can see, I'm pretty nervous here, and I appreciate it. But let me just read a little bit here. Chef Sean Sherman has dedicated his career to supporting and promoting indigenous food systems and native food sovereignty. Sean's cooking style is based on pre-colonial indigenous food systems using only ingredients that are native to North America. So I've been to your restaurant many times, but there's a lot of other things happening with you. And I just got to say, too, a quick shout out to you. You were on one of my favorite shows, Finding Your Roots, and you just did a great job. And that was awesome to see you on there. Welcome to Native Roots Radio.
Thanks for having me, Robert.
Hey, so there's a lot going on. I know you have a book coming out, and people can pre-order that cookbook. You also have a book out, and there's things happening. You're opening up a new restaurant. Where do we start? You're such a busy person and I don't know. I've heard you speak. I've heard in been to your restaurant, and I'm just amazed at the work that you've been doing, starting way back. And then I remember your food truck, and then your restaurant. It's just been really, really cool for me to watch peripherally what you've been doing in our community and all across Turtle Island.
Thanks. I mean, we do have a lot of stuff happening right now. We're really excited for the cookbook, which is called Turtle Island, and it explores all the indigenous diversity from Mexico through Alaska, erasing the colonial lines and just looking at all of our beautiful indigenous diversity. And I just got the first hard copy of that book in the mail yesterday, so it was really exciting to see it in physical form because it was a lot of work. We did that with my friend and co-author Kate Nelson, and also another co-author that worked really hard on the book, Kristen Donnelly. And we had Jada Gray Eagle, who's a local photographer, doing some of the photography. And it's a really amazing and beautiful book. And so it's going to be really fun. It doesn't come out to November 11th. And so we have a little bit of time, but it'll beat the holidays. And it was a big project and a lot to fit into a single book, but we did it, and I'm really proud of it. And we're just kind of busy getting ready to launch the new building on Franklin. So we're just going to add another cool native business to the Native American Cultural Corridor down there. So we bought the Seward Creamery Co-op on 26th and Franklin, and we're renaming it Waite Tipi, which just basically translates to food lodge or food building. And then we're opening up a new restaurant there in the front called Shota, which some people might know is part of the word Minnesota, and it loosely refers to smoke, which is why it's going to be a barbecue-themed Native American restaurant. So we're going to be smoking a lot of meats, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think it's going to be a way different concept than a Wamni is, but I think people will really enjoy it. And then we have a huge commercial kitchen there that we're going to be pumping out lots of healthy food for schools, hospitals, tribal communities, and that program is called Meals for Native Institutions. And then we're going to have some fun things coming up at Owamni that I can't talk about now, but just to get people to be aware of some really fun new projects that's going to come down with Owamni, and keeping your eyes open for some of those because it's going to be kind of some big news when it comes out. We're excited for Farm Aid coming up and being able to represent and actually vend food there. So we're going to have a vending space serving healthy native foods at the Farm Aid concert, when everybody's playing that day. And we're also getting ready to start moving a bunch of what we've created here in Minnesota into the Montana region. So we're getting ready to launch portions of what we're doing in Bozeman, Montana, and we're getting ready to hire somebody out there too. So a lot of stuff happening this year.
Well, Sean, that's amazing, and really appreciate all that information. Tell our audience out there that may not be familiar, we're on 30 stations across the country, have over 200,000 listeners. Tell us a little bit about your journey and what got you to this place. This is just an amazing story.
People always ask, how did you get from Pine Ridge, South Dakota to here? And I just say, I had a car. But anyways, we, it was a long journey because I grew up on Pine Ridge. My mom moved to the Black Hills in South Dakota. I did high school and college there. And then I started working in restaurants during high school time. So I was 13 years old when I started working in restaurants. Moved to Minneapolis, not knowing anything about Minneapolis except for that's where Prince was from, basically. And just kind of jumped into restaurants, made myself a chef eventually, or became a chef eventually at some of the nice restaurants around Minneapolis, and eventually just kind of had the epiphany to do what I'm doing today by just realizing there were no native food options out there. And there was nothing representing us as indigenous peoples and our own foodways. And there wasn't even a lot of information on that. So I kind of had to dig deep and just kind of figure out, like, what was my philosophy around showcasing indigenous foods, which is kind of what we still use today with removing colonial ingredients, so no dairy, no flour, no sugar, no beef, pork, chicken, just focusing on utilizing foods from indigenous producers, a lot of wild foods, a lot of heirloom varieties of agricultural pieces like corns, beans, and squash, and just having fun with it because we're trying to, like, what does our food look like for the future? So I feel like we're not traditional foods, we're futurist foods, when it comes to indigenous ways. And so we're just having a lot of fun with that. Awami's been very successful. The first cookbook's been out for many years now, and it's been very successful also. And, this work's brought a lot of attention, a lot of awards. We got 3 James Beard Awards, Julia Child Award, Time Magazine Most Influential Person in the World Award, and all of that. But this work was never about me. We just kind of utilized that to kind of keep us growing because, we were sitting on probably close to 160-ish employees in the organizations right now. Even the restaurant Awami is a part of the nonprofit, and the nonprofit's called NATIVES, or North American Traditional Indigenous Food Systems. And that's the vehicle that we're utilizing to do all this work of just trying to create access to foods and trying to preserve and steward a lot of indigenous education through videos. And if you go to our YouTube channel and find it under Indigenous Food Lab, we have over 200 videos up there already.
That's amazing. And also, too, SeanSherman.com, you can find out a lot of this information and also pre-order the cookbook. And again, what a great story, and you're world renowned, and it's really cool that you buzzed through all the things that I was going to talk about. So that I guess what I want to talk about is like, how was the situation with finding your roots? That's like one of my favorite shows. And how did you get on? And it was amazing.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, Dr. Gates is a really super cool dude and just a cool personality, and I didn't know anything about the show because I don't really watch TV that much. So when I just got an email and I just happened to catch it because it could have went to spam. I had no idea. And I was like, oh, I just got this weird ask to be on a PBS show where they want to, like, take my DNA and stuff. It seems like really invasive, but my partner Mecca was like, you have to be on that show. That's an amazing show. It's one of my favorite shows ever. I was like, all right. So we ended up just, like, talking to them and getting through, but they had to, like, talk to my family, talk to my parents, talk to some people had done a lot of, like, genealogy work already in the family and just kind of trace some of that stuff. And it was quite the ordeal. Now in the TV show they have, like, 3 family members that they talk about, but we spent a whole day with Dr. Gates and we went through kind of like my whole family, like my mom's side, my dad's side, and everybody, but they only pick a few for the TV show itself.
Well, that's interesting because, there is a lot there. Were there any surprises with your family tree?
I knew a lot about my mom's side of the family, and I knew about some of her lineage coming from Minnesota with the Dakota families and stuff like that. And I knew about some of her, obviously, Lakota, because I'm Oglala, Lakota. And I knew on my dad's side too that I knew some of it, but there were some pieces I didn't know, and I didn't know too much about my great great grandfather who was Black and was born a slave in Georgia and becomes a Buffalo Soldier, and then ends up getting sent out west to, like, basically fight Native people, but then gets an arrow in the neck and then ends up marrying a Cheyenne River woman and lives his whole life on Cheyenne River. And so I didn't know about that story. That was pretty interesting.
That's totally interesting. We only got a couple more minutes, and I know your schedule's really tight, so I really appreciate this. But let's go over again really quick where Owamni is and how we can get there, and then the exciting news that you just brought up.
Yeah, Owamni is just right on the river downtown. So basically, you can start in New Orleans and just head the river straight up, and you'll run into it on the left. But it's right there. It's a Dakota site called Owamni, which means place of the falling swirling waters loosely. It's depicting a massively beautiful waterfall that's nowadays a lock and dam and concrete skirting. But it's right downtown Minneapolis, and we've been sold out for 4 years now. We opened in July of 21. So every night's been sold out. People are always asking how to get a reservation. I say, I don't know. I just grew up on one.
I know you've probably said that 100 times, but I
use that one.
It's funnier. Well, you know, a lot going on politically, nationally, and you know, I have a shirt on that says "Food is political," and I appreciate what you've been doing all these years by putting out front native food and our native culture. Sean, I really, really appreciate you being on Native Roots Radio, and we got to do this again.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it and appreciate you. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Rest. Did you know that August is Pet Appreciation Month? Zero Rest doesn't use harsh soaps or chemicals, so it's safe for all your furry friends. If you have a pet like I do, you know they'd like to leave little bits of themselves around the house, whether that's fur or dander or worse, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Rest to help get your house back in shape. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So if it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to give the pros at Zero Res a call. Right now, you can get your entire home Zero Resified from Minnesota's ultimate carpet cleaner. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $124. Take 15% off pet odor treatments and $50 off an air duct cleaning when you book with Zero Res today. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. Native culture is alive and thriving at the Minnesota State Fair. The Native Roots Trading Post is back at the West End Market where you can support Indigenous artists and makers. And don't miss the Native Pride dancers performing on the Summit stage at the Bazaar August 31st and September 1st. From music and art to food and storytelling, Native culture is everywhere at the State Fair. Tickets are just $17 through August 20th at mnstatefair.org.
Hey, Francois, why are you sitting on the sidewalk on Snelling Avenue?
Salut, Laura. J'attends.
What are you waiting for?
Le State Fair.
But the State Fair doesn't start until August 21st.
Oui, mais j'ai hâte de manger les macarons de Nicolette.
Oh, you can't wait for Nicholas macaroons. What flavors do they have this year?
Cotton candy, root beer float, sweet corn, and mini donuts.
Oh, and Nicolette's vintage truck will be at the West End Market, right?
Oui.
Oh, well, I'll be right back when it opens. Hold the spot in line.
Vivement le State Fair.
Minnesota State Fair.
This is Alex Knorr from Buzz Cut Mowing, a young, hardworking entrepreneur serving the Southwest Metro with affordable lawn care. I take the hard work off your plate with weekly mowing. I also offer leaf cleanups, aeration, dethatching, tree trimming, and mulch installation. I'll keep your lawn beautiful so you can enjoy your weekends with the people who matter most. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com. That's buzzcutmowingmn.com.
Hey, it's Tom. There's a war being waged on clean energy. A bill in Congress could eliminate the 30% federal tax credit for solar by the end of 2025. And once it's gone, it may never come back. Fossil fuel giants and their MAGA friends in Washington want to kill green energy. But you can fight back. Going solar with All Energy Solar isn't just smart, it's a form of resistance. You choose where your money goes, not to utility companies, not to fossil fuel billionaires, but toward clean, renewable power for your home. A system from All Energy Solar works in Minnesota year-round because it runs on sunlight, not heat. So even in the dead of winter, you're generating electricity. And All Energy Solar helps you save with every rebate and incentive available. This is the moment to act. Waiting means risking with this tax credit and giving the upper hand to MAGA Republicans. So get your free consultation today at allenergysolar.com and take back your power.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms possible with a low of 71. Then Saturday, another good chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high of 84. If your home is in need of a deep clean, give the cleaning pros at Zero Res a call. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $124 when you call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. ATNF AM 950, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. This is Spirit from Reservation Dogs. Get up and listen.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Robert Blake, Solar Bear with the Solar News, and we got a lot to talk about. We got a couple segments here with Bob, and thank you so much for coming on. You are boots on the ground and get the vibe of what's happening here in Indian country, solar-wise and politically. So I really appreciate you stopping by and having our fireside chat, basically. Good fire. Ho-wah.
Ho-wah. Thanks for having me, Robert. Yeah, there's a lot happening. Robert, I want to, before we get into the solar news with the Solar Bear, I just want to talk about, 3 special elections that are coming up here in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah.
One of them being House District 34B. That's out there in the northern suburbs. That was, Emeritus Melissa Hortman's position. And so, the DFL candidate Lee will be going up against the Republican candidate Ruth Bittner. I think I said that Bittner. This is going to be a very emotional race, Robert, to say the least, because and the reason why I say this is because Speaker I always have a hard time saying this, but Emeritus,
yeah.
Melissa Hortman.
Yeah.
She was such a champion of renewable energy in the state of Minnesota, and I think we owe a lot of the reason why we have all these renewable energy projects and legislation in the state of Minnesota is because of Melissa and her leadership. So, this is a very emotional race for a lot of folks, and especially for folks in the renewable energy industry. We all just absolutely adored Melissa, and our hearts and our prayers go out to her and her family and to that community up there. So that's going to be happening. We also have a Senate district race happening too. I don't know if you remember this, but there was a passing of Senator Bruce Anderson. And so he's up there in Wright, Hennepin, and Meeker counties. DFL candidate Lewis McNuty is running for the seat. So good luck on that, Lewis. I hope you get it, buddy. And then one more, there's a Senate District 47. Nicole Mitchell, she had a situation where, she was had a conviction. She is running, or she's out of it, and she's got a couple people up there running for her seat. And so we'll see what happens with that. But the reason why I bring these up, Robert, is that all of these elections are very important to Minnesota's renewable energy future, to our planet and to the environment, because a lot of the policies that get brought down by these legislators, is basically how we move forward. So I hope that Minnesota will vote, the right folks in, and they'll continue this legacy of Minnesota being a leader here in the Midwest with renewables.
Well, we got a new city council member here in St. Paul, which was good. There was somebody that resigned, I guess, and so it looks like the people that I support are supporting this person. So every election matters, and especially now with the laws not being followed by the federal government, and I'm sure a lot of our local government Republicans would love to not follow the law too. So we're in really precarious times right now, but I appreciate talking about this because I talk to a lot of our friends out there and they're burnt out. And so we have to really still talk about things that are happening and still keep people alert. And it's so important to have you on, Bob, and talk about what's happening, because we've been in a really good place with solar and renewable, and now it's a shaky place, but things are still happening. And we really appreciate your updates and positivity here on Native Roots Radio.
Well, yeah, thanks, Robert. And I just want to let everyone know too that even though a lot of federal funding has been stopped, for renewables. There are some really good things locally that is happening, Robert. The solar on public buildings is coming out from the Department of Commerce.
Nice.
They're seeking proposals for solar on public buildings in the entire state of Minnesota. So everyone, you don't have to be in the metro area. You can be all over the state of Minnesota. Tribal nations, take note of this. You guys want solar on your buildings? Get in on this grant.
Mm-hmm.
Electric school buses, Robert. The Minnesota Department of Commerce is asking for proposals for purchases of electric school buses. That's October 7th. The RFP goes out. And tribal nations, once again, you want some school buses. We've got school buses up in Red Lake, and they're being used. So if they can use them in northern Minnesota, they can use them all over the state of Minnesota. Because I know that one of the things people worry about is the weather. But Robert, this is what's happening. And there is a lot of things going on. Also on the federal side, the tax credits are still available from the Inflation Reduction Act for your home till the end of the year. Next year, it's commercial. So everyone, contact your solar provider, installer, and get in on these. Basically, what is going to be the end of all of this renewable energy that we've been enjoying because of the Biden administration.
Yeah, exactly. So how are our relatives out there? I know I saw you posted a picture of it was a F-150 solar truck a couple days ago.
Yeah, Robert, that's so exciting. The Electric Nation Project was able to purchase a F-150 Ford Lightning. Now, Robert, this thing has loaded down. It's got like the battery warmer. It's got the extended battery range. They're up in White Earth, Minnesota. This is for Eighth Fire Solar, and everyone, Eighth Fire Solar does such a great job. Gway Gesco and the rest of his these are young Native men, 25 years old, that are going around and putting thermal solar on, homes and businesses that want to save on their electricity bills. I'm just so proud of these young men and the work that they're doing. And I'm really proud that we were able to get them a F-150 Ford Lightning with all the bells and whistles that they can then haul their trailer onto the projects and know that they are riding carbon free and they are doing good things for the planet because they are just such wonderful young men, Robert. And I cannot say enough good things about them.
That's awesome. And then you had a big hand in that. It's great to have the young ones jump on good opportunities like that, Robert. I just, again, we're resilient. We, as Native Americans, again, have the corner of resilience. We've been, being resilient for 500 years. And so this is a bump in the road, but as you said, there's still things happening. We're still pushing forward, and a lot of it has to do with all the great stuff that you're doing, and then the knowledge that you're bringing to all these people across Turtle Island.
Yeah, absolutely, Robert. I just did an interview, and I told them in the interview, I said, yeah, this is a blip a blip on the radar. This is a bump in the road. I understand that we lost solar for all, and it was going to help all these different communities, particularly tribal communities too. But, we will come together as a community. We will come together as family like we've always have, and we will get through this together because we are resilient and we are still here, Robert. And that's something that, when I think about my worst day and I think about, my relatives and my great-great-grandfather who was signing those treaties up in Red Lake, and thinking about the Gatling guns that they were faced and them telling those soldiers that, this is the land of our children and our grandchildren and time immemorial. And, that has nothing compared to my worst day. You know what I mean? So we will get through this, Robert, and we're going to get through this with love like Native people have always gotten through it.
Wow, really good way to put it. Really good way to put it. Well, we're going to do another segment here, and I think we'll have to talk about some more things that are happening renewable across Turtle Island, but also I want to talk a little bit politically about what's happening with all these radio stations that are getting cut, and a lot of them are native radio stations across Turtle Island, and it's going to affect PBS. But they were, the conduit for supporting these stations and sending money out. So it's going to be rough on radio here for a lot of people, and we have to put some tobacco out for people, and also people that are listening to this show on other stations across the country, across Turtle Island. Support the sponsors, support the station, and do what you can. And we're fighting back again. So we just want to throw that out there, Bob.
Absolutely, Robert. I'm look forward to talking about that next segment.
Yeah. So we got one more minute here. How do people find out what you're doing? Do you have a website, a Facebook? I know your stuff pops up on mine and I go, hey, there's something going on there. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go ahead and check out solarbear.earth or nativesun.org. Once again, I am the owner of Solar Bear, founder and CEO, and I am the executive director of Native Sun Community Power Development, a 501c3 located in Minneapolis.
And a very groovy guy. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. We're going to take a quick break. We're here with Robert Blake from Red Lake. Had to get that in there one time. This is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back. Hey, this is Robert Pilot. The Minnesota State Fair is more than food on a stick. It's a chance to celebrate Native culture and voices. On August 25th, hear the Red Lake Singers and Emizaska Drum Group during Mental Health Awareness at Dan Patch Park. On August 27th, meet Native authors like Roxanne B2B Nokwe Gold and Stacy Lola Druyard, and visit the Common Table and learn how Indigenous foodways are shaping Minnesota's future. Get your State Fair tickets now at mnstatefair.org.
After 20 years of service, the Metro Blue Line is ready for essential improvements. A multi-year transformation is on the way, bringing a better, smoother Blue Line experience. Renew the Blue will preserve and protect a critical piece of our infrastructure investment, helping it remain a safe, reliable, and affordable transit option for many years to come. Learn more about Renew the Blue at metrotransit.org/renew-the-blue. Metro Transit, Renew the Blue.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nagd.org.
Hi, I'm Tiergan.
And I'm Hadley.
We're two of the very first listeners, and we're
still listening to Native Roots Radio.
Yeah. Hey, we want to give a shout out to our wolves in Wisconsin and Minnesota. We want to say no to the hunt and do a big howl for them. Howl! Good one, Bob. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're with Solar Bear with Solar News. This is Bob Blake, and a lot going on, and we really appreciate you stopping in and giving us the word what's happening. Welcome back, as always, Bob. Thank you so much. What's happening, Mr. Solar Bear?
Yeah, Robert, I just wanted to touch base real quick on a couple of things that I think people should be aware of right now. The Trump administration is keeping, some coal plants, right, open, that were slated to close. But here's the crux of it. Here's the interesting piece about this. This is going to cost the utility consumers between $3 billion and almost $6 billion extra per year to keep these things running. And they were slated to close because obviously there's more renewable energy coming online. And so how you distribute that, right? But, keeping these coal plants open is just doesn't make sense. It's pretty stupid. So at a time when inflation is really peaking up, we're losing jobs. We're succeeding our renewable energy future overseas. China is building windmills, and it's almost like it's make China great again. Yeah. That's what we should. That's the hats we should have, is make China great again. But this is really going to hit the consumers' pocketbooks over the next 4 years, and you're not feeling it now, but you will once all this starts happening at once. And I just want people to understand, the rationale in this, and giving, the fossil fuel industry basically these giveaways and these tax breaks. And it's really going to hit ordinary Americans, Robert. And there's an election coming up next year, Robert.
Yeah.
People need to have this information.
Absolutely. And it's great to get the information and great to get it from you. I know the tariffs right now, I just read that 38.9% raise in vegetable costs because of the tariffs now. That's real money. That's people, where are they going to get the money, and where are our relatives that are living paycheck to paycheck get the money? But yet we have billionaires getting tax breaks. I mean, in the pre-70s, before the middle class was taken to task here, and we lost the middle class by 1973, the attack on the middle class, people could live so much better, and things are just so underwater right now. And we just have to keep talking about it. And, when things come up, let's do something about it. We only need 3.5% of the population to turn this government.
Yeah. And Robert, great point, because, I just want to say, since 1983 or whatever that was, when Reagan got in, trickle economics has not worked.
Yeah.
And so,
well, the first thing he did, he was elected in 1980. The first thing he did was bust the unions, and went after the air traffic controllers.
Patco, right? That was Patco.
Right. Exactly.
That was Patco. That was also the same time period that they lobbied to get rid of. I think it was like the Truth Act, which is like truth in media. Like, if the media has stories, they have to tell the truth. And oh, by the way, the same time period, Rupert Murdoch starts Fox News. Isn't that a coincidence?
Right. Well, and again, we talk about it here. We're on civic media across the airways, and we're in AM 950 in the Twin Cities, and we're in all these other stations that are progressive. But 6 companies own 95% of the airwaves in the news that you're reading. So that's scary. And then you also see what CBS has done. They've bowed down to the president. We have colleges bowing down to him now and paying fines, and that's just not right. We have to push back, and for the people, for all people.
And I love the way you did that, the way you just like flawlessly moved into that space right there, because you can't get this on like the mainstream media. That
Right.
talent, Robert, to be able to do that, you can only get on public radio.
Right. or privately owned, other than from the big companies,
Exactly. And Robert, but in all truthfulness, like, you bring up a great point. Like, this is where that independent media is so important in a democracy, because you need to be able to get that constructive viewpoint, right? And without that, then it's George Orwell 1984. I mean, honestly.
Well, we already are in that space. We already are, at least China right now with the fascism and dictatorship. We're at least there right now, and we're heading towards Russia. And I don't know if you heard Trump talk about that he was meeting the meeting the president of the Soviet Union in Russia, but really it's Alaska. So I don't know, is he going to give away Alaska to Putin now? Is that what's happening?
Well, and one of the things, Robert, that, is really sad about, the Republican Party and those individuals that are, close to the president right now is, their thought process is that, democracy is over, that, that in order for us to compete in the new world, we need individuals that can make split-second decisions in real time to basically compete on a worldwide level. And, that's Hitler. That's the Nazis. That was their way of thinking. And, I'm telling everybody out here right now that this is the conversation and the chatter that's happening in those spaces. And, we have an election next year coming up. And I'm going to tell you right now, Robert, they are going to try and do everything and anything they can to steal that. And we have to show up in force and let them know that this is our country and not theirs.
Absolutely. Well, and they've practiced with martial law. It looks like we already are in martial law when it comes to DC and LA. They're practicing it, and I just have to say that we are in martial law. He has brought the troops, our own troops, against the civilians, and so no matter how the news tiptoes around that, and I was watching the national news, and they were talking about the weather that happened and things like that. And the third or fourth thing they talked about was what's happening in DC, which is we have the one form of the government, the dictatorship, taking over a whole city that really is down 30% in crime. And there's no sane reason other than the fact that it's a blue state that they're doing this, Bob.
And I just want to say real quick, Robert, Hitler didn't start with camps. He started with Make Germany Great Again, banning books, targeting the press, blaming immigrants, creating enemies from neighbors, defunding the arts, stoking fear of outsiders, demonizing educators, right, Robert?
Yeah.
And I just want to let the public know, this is what they cut just recently: public broadcasting, U.S. aid, Medicaid, performing arts, Medicare, higher education, free speech, SNAP, voting rights, storm prediction, FEMA, CDC, Sesame Street, Robert. Sesame Street.
Jesus.
History, clean air, job, science, peace, American pride. Robert, this sounds very familiar to this previous playbook.
Absolutely. Hey, we just got to stay on top of it. Part of that is having you on the show and talking about real issues and the things that you're working on. Robert, thank you so much for coming on Native Roots Radio.
Thank you very much, Robert, for having me. And that's the Solar Bear with the Solar News.
Right on. Hey, if you're listening to the show, you're part of the resistance from Chief Plenty Coops. The ground on which we stand on is sacred ground. It's the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist. Join a group, run for office. We're still here.
Fair fun starts on Metro Transit. Instead of driving